The summer break is over, and it seemed here yesterday as if the summer itself was over. But today in Norfolk, the sun is shining on the resumption of the High-Q MSA British Touring Car Championship. 15 races gone, 15 races left as the battle for the most important title in British motor racing continues here at Snetterton today. And it will continue with the same kind of intensity that we've enjoyed since day one of this championship back at Brands Hatch in April. Welcome to another season of our British Touring Car Championship.
Victory for Colin Turkington.
Well, it was 7 weeks ago at Croft that Matt Neal lost his championship lead to Colin Turkington, and such was the dominance of West Surrey Racing and the Team RAC BMWs that day that Turkington was able to open a 25-point margin at the top. Whether he can maintain that advantage is the big lesson we learned from the first of our 3 Touring Car Championship races, which is just a few minutes away here at Snetterton. Well, the championship leader didn't quite have things all his way in qualifying, and Louise Goodman can report on all of yesterday's action.
Jason Plato was the only man amongst the BTCC front-runners who didn't take part in the recent test session at Snetterton, but that doesn't seem to have hampered the Chevrolet driver's performance here. He took pole, but despite topping the timesheets in qualifying, Plato doesn't hold out much hope for a repeat performance in race 1 with the fast-starting BMW of Colin Turkington sitting alongside him on the front row.
It's good to get pole, important, but Colin's in P2, so we know what's going to happen. Turn 1, he'll be gone and off and he'll probably win. That said, we're here to fight and we're not going to give up.
It's obviously great to be starting on the front row of the grid, and you know, hopefully I should be leading by the first corner, but the Chevrolet is very quick here, and you know, with the long straights of Snetterton, it's very difficult to break the toe, so I think it's be a much closer race than it was at Croft.
James Thompson finished a close run second in third ahead of VXR's Andrew Jordan, who out-qualified his championship-winning teammate Fabrizio Giovanardi by 0.02 of a second. Matt Neal's time was good enough for third on the grid, but the VXR driver was demoted to 9th after being penalised for blatantly cutting corners on his quickest lap.
It was one of those things, end of the qualifying, put all your cards on the table and see what you can do, and well, didn't work this time.
Stephen Jelly lines up alongside Neal in the top 10 split by just half a second. Harry Volkard's 10th for the new Bamboo Engineering team. Adam Jones is 12th, just ahead of his new teammate Gordon Shedden, who's making a return to the BTCC in place of the luckless Dan Eves.
I arrived yesterday, I think sat in the car for about a minute and a half before the first practice session this morning, so if you talk about being on the back foot, I think this is it absolutely epitomised.
And Rob Collard was frustrated with his car and with 14th on the grid. So here's confirmation of the grid. Plato tops the times sheets on a 1 minute 12.247. Turkington and Tomo are both on a 12.3, and the gap between the 4th place Jordan and Giovanardi in 5th is even smaller. Row 4's Jackson and Paul O'Neill, Matt Neal and Stephen Jelly make up the top 10. Volkard's 11th on a 1:12.8, and the 2 Cartridge World Carbon Zero racing cars are 12th and 13th. Collard's 14th on a 1:13.2, Dave Pinckney and Tom Chilton share row 8, and John George and Martin Johnson bring up the rear. Well, we are back up at the sharp end of the grid now with the man they're all chasing in the championship, Colin Turkington, or as we should now call him Dad, because Colin and his girlfriend had a little baby boy during the break. How's fatherhood?
Yeah, it's been a tough few weeks, although I think it's been tougher for Louise than me. Just trying to teach him to sleep is the big thing at the moment, but he's getting better.
But it hasn't been all nappies and night fees. You've also become an ambassador for Go Motorsport as well in recent weeks, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. You know, that's been a great honour for me, and you know, it's just the aim of trying to encourage more people into motorsport, and you know, especially in Northern Ireland, there's a big passion for motorsport. You know, whether it's motorbikes, go-karts, or whatever, and you know, it's there's means out there that you can get started that are very affordable. So, you know, I'm glad I can lend my support to that.
A quick word about the race. Jason Plato ahead of you on the grid, but he seems to think you've got this race sewn up already. Is he right?
Well, I don't think so. You know, I should be able to jump him off the line, but, you know, it's going to be tough to shake him off because the straights are very long here at Snetterton, and, you know, he's going to sit in my slipstream, so I'm going to have to work hard if I'm going to win this one.
Right, well, let's go and have a word with Jason Plato. Did a great qualifying lap yesterday to put himself pole towards the end of the session, but he has been not too happy about the fast starting Colin Turkington right behind him. You reckon he's going to get the jump? And in fact, there's been a lot of talk about maybe having rolling starts to negate what you perceive, I think, to be an unfair advantage that the BMWs have at the start. Is that right?
I mean, I can't answer the second question because I've not been privy to those conversations, but certainly, yeah, you know, if I do the best start in the world and Colin does a very average one, he'll still be 1.5 seconds in the lead by the time we get to turn 1. That's just the law of physics. But, you know, I've just got to concentrate on my race. I've got something up my sleeve which might unsettle him a little bit.
Which is what? Tell us more.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but, you know, they struggle to put heat in their front tyres, which aid turning. We obviously don't because we've got front-wheel drive. So my plan, if you like, is to have a ridiculously slow green flag lap and stop him weaving to put any energy in his tyres. That way, come turns 1, 2 or 3, he won't be able to brake as late as he perhaps wants to, might give me a chance.
But you've got a lot of power on the straights in this Chevy. That's going to help you out in this race, isn't it?
Yeah, it should do. I mean, it's not just the engine, but also it's aerodynamically efficient. So we'll see.
Good luck, and time for the race to get underway, so let's go over to our commentary team, Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
Thanks, Louise. Yeah, looking forward to some great racing action here. Snetterton in Norfolk, just alongside the A11, and it's always a good circuit. There's fast, long straights, Tim, so that's what we're going to be looking for. A bit of slipstreaming.
Yeah, there'll certainly be some of that if we can get the cars all cleanly off the line. We've heard from Jason about the advantage the BMWs have, and they'll all be trying to maximise that advantage. But of course, this is a very narrow grid, and we have seen start line incidents before, so let's hope we can get everyone to the first corner cleanly.
Jason Plato, second pole position of the year from qualifying, that is. Finished second at Alton Park because he was beaten off the line by that Colin Turkington. And actually, Colin's got a remarkable record in recent races. The first 2 races of each of the last 2 meetings, Alton and Croft, he's gone on to win. Of course, he's carrying maximum ballast in the Team RAC BMW as well. But it's the Silverline Racing car of Jason Plato that will lead them away on this formation lap. About to see the green flag waved up there, and Jason will lead them away. He's got a very good record here at Snetterton, Plato. Won here last year, in fact won both of the opening races in the Seat Diesel that he was driving then. Had engine problems in the 3rd race, which was a real sort of hindrance to his championship chase, it has to be said. But he's got a good record here. Here we are, going away on the formation lap, and everybody hopefully going away. We did see that James Nash had a problem on the outlap, so I'm not sure whether he's actually made it onto the grid.
No, they'd changed the engines in that car before today, so presumably some kind of installation problem. But of course, we've still got 3 Chevys on there with Plato, Matt Jackson, and of course Harry Volcard, who's now his car's running in white as opposed to blue under the new banner of Bamboo Racing. So watch out for Harry.
Yeah, you can just see it in the middle of the pack with this sort of green flashes. But we're on board with Colin Turkington, series leader. He's had 2 wonderful events at Alton and at Croft, and now he's got to try and maintain that championship momentum. But the other guys are all going to be out to stop him. So Plato leads him. Right behind Turkington is James Thompson, of course, in the Team Dynamics Honda Civic. Let's take a look at the grid in more detail. It is Plato on pole position, the first driver, in fact, to take a repeat pole from qualifying this year. Turkington is alongside in that Team RAC BMW. Second row, we've got James Thompson, a former lap record holder here, and Andrew Jordan, the fastest of the Vauxhalls in qualifying, the youngster. Behind them on row number 3, it's Fabrizio Giovanardi, still looking for those 3 titles in a row, of course. Jonathan Adam is alongside in the Airwaves BMW. He'll also be looking for the rear-wheel drive advantage. Matt Jackson's 7th on the grid, fastest over the first sector in qualifying, losing a little bit in the second sector. Alongside him is Paul O'Neill in the sunshine.co.uk car. Matt Neal 9th on the grid. He was further up, but he lost his best time, as we heard. Stephen Jelly's 10th, had a wonderful event at Croft with podiums in all 3 races there, but a little bit of a struggle in qualifying. Harry Volkard in that re-liveried car for Bamboo Engineering, renamed team as well, and Adam Jones in the first of the 2 Cartridge World Seats. And of course the other story is Gordon Shetton back in British touring cars. He was in the second of the Cartridge World cars, lining up 13th, and Rob Collard is in the second of the Airways BMW cars, 14th on the grid. Working our way down the order now, Dave Pinkney for Team Dynamics, 15th. Tom Chilton, a lot of revisions to the engine. He's lost a stone in weight since we last saw him as well, all in an effort to try and be faster in that Ford Focus. John George, he's starting his 100th British touring car race in this first race of the day. Martin Johnson is alongside him in the Boulevard Team Racing car, and we're hoping James Nash is at the back, but he did have a problem, as I say, going out onto the grid, and we'll just see whether he's starting from pit lane. So
that's good news. So hopefully just a small problem they fixed. But Jason Plato is giving us plenty of time to do that grid as he led the field round very, very slowly. Now that's a ploy to try and stop the rear-wheel drive cars getting much heat in their tyres. And look how slowly he's going. I know the officials won't be happy with this, but it's clearly the ploy that Jason's been thinking about to try and give himself an advantage on the line.
Well, he said he had something up his sleeve to Louise on the grid, and now we know what it was. It's a very, very slow formation lap, all trying to not allow those BMWs to get some heat. But watch Turkington behind. Look how much he's weaving around. And it's a bit of an out-psyching thing too, isn't it? He's trying to disturb Turkington's normal build-up to the race.
Well, the thing is, the front-wheel drive car can spin the wheels and does all the steering and driving in front. He can generate more heat in the front than Turkington can generate in the rear. I don't think this policy is actually going to work, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see. We're on the camera on the feet of Turkington there, and he's using the brake. Now, he can use the brakes to get heat into those front tyres, can't he?
Yeah, it doesn't create a lot. It puts some heat in the carcass of the wheel, but doesn't really put heat into the tyre. But let's see. Plato did a big burnout off the line, so he's laid a nice little drag strip style rubber starting mark. See if he lines up on those marks. I'm sure he will.
There he is, then moving into position. Yeah. So try and use the rubber that's already laid down. That's the view from Turkington's car. So over to the right, the number 3 car, of course, the Silver Line Chevrolet of Jason Plato. He's had a 1 race victory so far this year. That was right at the beginning of the season, and it was a race 3 with a reverse grid. Chevy still looking for their first win from qualifying, if you like, in this British Touring Car Championship of 2009. So let's see what Plato can do. Can he get off the line and beat the BMW? Don't forget James Thompson and Andrew Jordan. Keep an eye on the youngster in that 3rd Vauxhall. All set then for the start of this race. Lights on. The reds are showing here. It's Snetterton. Lights out. Away we go. And it's Plato getting a good start. But here comes Turkington blasting past him as he expected. Turkington getting that BMW off the line brilliantly well. Plato slots into 2nd place. Thompson and Jordan going side by side through Rich's corner. Giovanardi's tucked in behind them. And then it's Johnny Adam. We've got a spin in the middle though. And Matt Neal. Oh, he gets it back together.
Well, Matt Neal's weekend goes from bad to worse. He already lost 5 places on his grid qualifying time for overshooting the chicane on his fastest lap, and now he's been turfed to the back as well.
2nd in the championship to Colin Turkington, but it's complete opposite fortunes. Turkington leads, Matt Neal's at the back, and Jason Plato's on the attack in the Chevrolet. He's going down the inside into the S's. Oh, there's contact, and the championship leader's in trouble. Plato gets going. Turkington's going to try and rejoin. He's off as well. He's at contact.
Now that was Andrew Jordan trying to take advantage, so both of them really going off. What happened there was Plato, his car is very quick on the straight. He knew he had to try and get back past. It looks like Jordan through, and Giovanardi as well.
Yeah, Andrew Jordan.
And that's Johnny Adam coming down the inside as well of James Thompson.
Thompson losing a whole bunch of places. It's the Vauxhall 1-2 as they come around towards the end of the first lap. Oh, another one, that's Collard. He's been hit by one of the 2 cartridge cars. I think it was Shetton who just tapped him as they came through Russell.
Yeah, we've seen 2 incidences there where the BMW can't survive a little tap on the rear because it flicks the car around, whereas Plato in the front-wheel drive car was able to nail that throttle, as was Matt Neal at that corner, Riches, and bring the front round. But it's really reverse changed the grid, and we've now got 2 Vauxhalls in front of Johnny Adam and Thompson pushing hard.
Oh, a little bit of contact there as well. That almost pushed Adam round, and joining into the fun is Matt Jackson in the other Chevrolet Lassetti. So it's Andrew Jordan leading for Vauxhall Axel, chased by Fabrizio Giovanardi. Matt Jackson moving over to one side. Turkington still in that battle in there as well, despite the spin he had on the first lap. Thompson also joining in, trying to get back one of those places. Oh, he's side by side with Jackson. Jackson on the grass coming out of the S's, and Thompson should have the inside line into the right hand, and Jackson's lost a couple of places.
Yeah, but look at Paul O'Neill alongside Jackson as well. He's getting stuck in. Well, Paul said to me he was going to be really cautious at the start of this race and wait for the other tyres to go off, because that Integra looks after his tyres really well. But he's absolutely flown up. He's up to 5th.
Fantastic stuff for Paul O'Neill, up to 5th place. Stephen Jelly, I think, has sort of allowed Turkington, battled him too hard, on board with Turkington. Let's just see, it's Jordan leading from Giovanardi, Thompson in 3rd, Adam is 4th, O'Neill 5th, Jackson is 6th ahead of Turkington. So you're on board with Turkington in 7th as you go up towards the 100-mile-an-hour right-hander at Bridges here, and then heading along the short straight towards Sear. He's not going to attack into this one, but they're onto the Revit straight here, where slipstreaming comes into its own.
Well, Turkington may have got put wide by Jason Plato, but it was Jason Plato who lost more, because Plato's down in 16th place after that secondary contact with Andrew Jordan. Look, Giovanardi's looking down the inside.
Oh, Andrew Jordan's yet to win a British Touring Car race, and he wants to fight for this with double champion Giovanardi. But remember, Fabrizio Giovanardi is 3rd in the points, pretty close after that victory last time, and he goes through. He goes through. Jordan didn't fight it in the end. He stayed out wide, and Giovanardi takes the lead.
Yeah, Jordan outbraked himself into the S's, and Giovanardi was able to crack that throttle a little bit earlier and get better drive up the inside into the bomb hole.
So further down the order, you can see Gordon Shetton in the battle there. He's sitting in 11th place, tucked in behind Harry Volkard with the newcomers on that Chevrolet Lacetti, just battling to be in the top 10 there. Let's take a little look back. This was
Plato going down the inside of Turkington. That little bit of contact spins round Turkington, but now there'll be a secondary contact from Andrew Jordan on the right-hand side.
Another view of it. They came in side by side. This was where the initial contact was made, but then watch as you see Plato coming through the corner. Yeah, we didn't quite see the second tap on Plato.
Yeah, and Plato losing more time on the grass there. You can see Turkington actually rejoin without losing too much time.
Plato's currently in 16th place, by the way. This was Matt Neal at the start of the race. This was when we saw Matt Neal go sideways, and that's what happened to him. Matt Neal's gone back into 13th position. So these guys are fighting their way back through the order a little bit. And then this was another little incident. Yeah, that was when Collard went round.
Yeah, that was Gordon Shedden just getting back into the swing of racing. Obviously, Gordon Shedden hasn't been in the championship this year after losing his drive earlier in the year to Thompson at Halfords. And it's great to see him back out, albeit in one of the Cartridge World Seat Leons.
That's right. And of course, next round of the series taking place at Knockhill in Scotland. So it'll be good to see Gordon Shedden out at that event. Got a lot of support up there, but it's Giovanardi who leads this race from his teammate Andrew Jordan. 3rd place then for James Thompson in the black and yellow Civic. 4th place, very good 4th place this for Johnny Adam. Motorbase team had their first ever podium in touring cars here at Snetterton last year, and Johnny Adam's going well. Still his first season, of course, of British touring cars. He's got Matt Jackson, a winner here last year, behind him. Paul O'Neill still running in 6th place. Turkington in 7th, but into the pits has come Jason Plato. And it's all gone a bit pear-shaped for Plato after looking good up front and battling for the lead.
Yeah, it's all gone horribly wrong. I don't know what the problem was. This is a replay. He pulls wide. Well, that looks like he lost some steering there. It's on the right front. So maybe he had some contact on that side, but it looks like he's lost some steering there. Now they're looking at that right front to see what the damage is, a steering arm bent or something, I'm sure.
That's the side that he hit Turkington with, isn't it? So maybe it's damage from that earlier incident. You're on board with Turkington. Turkington in 7th place, tucked in behind Paul O'Neill, and O'Neill might be in that older Honda Integra, but it's a quick car. Oh, he hits that new curve. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, there's a new curve there that the drivers used to straddle over, but they built it up considerably on the right-hand side to stop them doing it. It does compromise the exit of the Russell chicane, but you don't really want to bounce over it. It's very hard on the car. But I think Paul O'Neill's got a great chance here. I mean, the car is very quick. They straightened out the front splitter. The splitter of the cross member on the front of that car was bent, and he says the handling's been massively improved since then.
Nice onboard view with Turkington. You can see what he's doing on the steering and what he's doing with his feet. Right now, he's just hard on the throttle as they build up to 140 miles an hour down this Revit straight, and he's trying to close up on that Honda Integra. Meanwhile, Matt Jackson's making a move down the inside, just ahead of trying to get past Johnny Adam. That was for 4th place. Not sure if he made it all the way through or not. Take a look at that. But Matt Jackson on the attack there for 4th place. Yes, he's got past Johnny Adam, the blue and white Chevrolet of Matt Jackson, into 4th position.
Yeah, great shot there of Turkington's feet as he went down the gears at the end of the Revit straight, and some of you enthusiasts might want to watch that and see how he does his heeling and towing. In fact, he had his clutch but poised over the clutch with his toes absolutely twitching, ready to do the gear change, and then heeling and towing, braking and just blipping the throttle at the same time.
Battle for 2nd place. Andrew Jordan up against James Thompson. This is an interesting one. Thompson may be looking up into Rich's corner, but he doesn't really go for the lunge. A very short braking distance there. It's the next corner perhaps, or setting up for the S's is the favourite here at Snetterton. That's what they all love to try. Good exit out of this corner, onto the Revit straight, and then attack down at the S's.
Yeah, the Civic doesn't have the greatest of top speed. It has good torque, but in the tow here, he may actually be able to offset that speed. He is, in fact, he's actually catching in the slipstream.
This is good stuff. Andrew Jordan's going tight. He moves back out. Got to be careful not to weave too much. And he just about holds the line into the left-hander at the S's, as long as he doesn't brake too late. And he holds on to 2nd position. Up front, Giovanardi's pulling away. He's 2.3 seconds ahead is Giovanardi. And the Italian should never be discounted from this championship chase. Fantastic victory last time out at Croft in those awful conditions for Giovanardi. But he has put himself back into the points battle, and he's leading this one, but this is a great race for 2nd, and behind them Matt Jackson is also perhaps just beginning to close up as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it goes. We're not even at halfway yet, but don't forget the Vauxhalls had a big problem with tyre drop-off in the hot weather we had up at the last 2 races, and maybe that's something that's affecting Jordan now, and we'll have to see what happens with Giovanardi, but watch for possible tyre drop-off.
Let's get down to the pits, some news, and Jason Plato. Louise, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Jason, the first man out of the race. What was the problem? Was it accident damage from you coming together with Colin?
Yeah, we just slightly touched on the on my right front, and it's bent the track rod a little bit. You know, that's the only chance we've got on that one, to have a go to win. And you know, I want to win races. I didn't want to cruise around for 2nd place. And you know, Colin's so far ahead of the championship. We've got to be aggressive, and it just didn't work.
So, do you think it was a slightly ambitious move, or do you feel that the 2 of you could have got through there safely?
I don't think it was an ambitious move. I mean, I had the inside line, and none of us wanted to concede the corner. That's motor racing at times, isn't it?
Cheers, Jason.
So back to the battle for 2nd place. It's still Jordan versus Thompson, and Thompson hunting around, and Jordan really wants this 2nd place. You can tell in the way he's driving. Very defensive, but so far so good. Staying there. Jackson still in 4th place with Johnny Adam behind him, and then Paul O'Neill. Colin Turkington still in the race despite that clash with Plato earlier, but we know that Plato is now out of it. Matt Neal, by the way, up to 11th, and out also is Gordon Shedden. That's a surprise on his return. Don't know what the problem is there, but it's as well as problems also for James Nash. His race is run, so a few cars going out of this one.
Yeah,
Tim.
I mean, Snetterton is hard on cars over the curbs, particularly as we saw at the final chicane at Russell, and over the curbs there and at the S's, but some of these problems are obviously to do with accidents and damage as well. But just to interpret Jason Plato's comments there, was it an ambitious move? Basically, what he really meant was, yes, it might have been, but I could have been given a bit more room by Colin as well.
Well, there'll be discussions, I'm sure. Turkington's still in the hunt, though, here, and he's got to protect his points lead. That's what he's trying to do. And in fact, it's under threat from Giovanardi, because Giovanardi's leading this race and looking with fastest lap as well to get all the bonus points, and it will make quite a difference in the points battle, because 7th place here for Turkington, scoring some points, but it's not a lot of points. So he could really do with picking off a couple. That would be Paul O'Neill, who's right ahead as we follow them down into the chicane. You can see them bouncing over the curbs a little bit there, but he's carrying maximum ballast, don't forget, so accelerating out of here, it's got that extra weight to carry.
This is Thompson finally getting underneath Andrew Jordan into the Russell chicane. He carried more speed through Corham and dived down, very late manoeuvre, and Andrew Jordan gave him room. And I think, in fact, now Thompson will pull away, and the remaining bunch, led by Jackson, are going to queue. Oh, Thompson's got a problem.
Yeah, suddenly.
He may have missed a gear there. We'll see if he picks up the speed.
I think it might have been a punctual. He looked up strangely going in to see it. It's something else, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, there's smoke coming up from that car as well, so it could be a tyre rubbing. He's pulling out of the way now to get out of the racing line, but the tyres look intact. The car isn't dropping down, but I think he's got an engine problem there.
Oh, what a shame! Just when Tomo was really beginning to feature in this race, there's Matt Neal just locking up as well. He gained some places. Meanwhile, in the pits, we saw Gordon Shedden is out. Let's find out what the problem is with Louise.
Yeah, another man with technical problems, I think, Gordon. That's right.
Yeah, we've got a gear selection problem. The car felt really good actually in the first few laps, but then it just started getting worse and worse, and culminated to right down the inside of Harry Volkard into the last corner, because I just couldn't shift down, couldn't slow down, and then it kind of selected a couple of gears, and I got another lap, and then it was just too dangerous to continue, so now I can't select any gears in the downshift, so I had to retire.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Thanks, Louise. Safety cars come on circuit, so Giovanardi's nice big lead, which was up to 4.2 seconds, massive margin in touring cars. Suddenly it's all back to square one.
It is, and I think what's caught. Oh, Thompson's got going again. I thought he'd actually conked out at the S's, and that was why the safety car came, but he's managed to get it going. So it does seem like it's a temperamental engine problem, something coming and going, although we definitely did see a bit of smoke out the back of it. But it's a shame, because Thompson, in actual fact, now could have been probably the quickest car to take the fight to Giovanardi. Jordan might be able to as well, but we'll see. It's all closed up.
Right, well, we'll see what happens. The lights are out already on the safety car, so he will be, it's just an out and in. But it's, of course, has meant that Giovanardi's got it all to do, but he's got a teammate behind him, so he's not in too much trouble here. And Andrew Jordan's got to protect his position from Matt Jackson. So Jackson now in third place with Tomo's retirement. There is Tomo's car. Very sad for Team Dynamics after showing extremely well there. But they're not going to add to their win tallies for this season. And James Thompson, a retirement from this first race. Meanwhile, the other guys coming around. We believe it was a gearbox problem as well on Thompson's car there. So, ready for the restart. Cars down into Russell. Safety car will be coming in as they come past the pits. And Giovanardi gets on it straight away. Jordan does go with him. And he's got to protect from behind from Matt Jackson in the Chevrolet Lacetti. And then Johnny Adams up there, Paul O'Neill. Could this provide a chance also for Turkington, I wonder? Oh, and Jackson going one way then the other, and he's going to have a little go into Riches, but he's not quite there. That looked pretty close for a moment.
Yeah, well, I think Andrew Jordan's got to be a little bit careful about weaving. Look, he's moving across the road one side to another now. The rule is you're allowed to move one way, but you're not allowed to move twice. And I think Andrew's coming very close to falling foul of that rule.
Yeah, he's going to have to be a little bit cautious. Meanwhile, Johnny Adams right in there as well. Giovanardi's getting away once again on this restart. Look at them all. They're all jostling for position. Matt Jackson moves to the inside in the blue and white. Andrew Jordan just holds him off for them. Oh, no! He spins it. He loses it on his own. He went in too quick. He spins in front of the pack. As he just has to wait now until he can rejoin. My goodness, that could have involved a lot more, but thankfully it was just Jordan.
Yeah, it looked like he just went in on a tight line, a little bit hot. The right rear tyre on these cars is the coldest tyre on the car, although after these number of laps it should be okay. And look at O'Neill up the inside with Johnny Adam.
From podium place, Paul O'Neill dives past Johnny Adam into third position. What a drive this is from O'Neill in the Sunshine.co.uk car, the Honda Integra that has had so much success over the years in British touring cars, but many people would think it's out of date now, but it's not. It's still competitive, and he's up into third place ahead of Johnny Adam. Turkington is now in fifth place with his teammate Stephen Jenney right behind. So this race has come back for Turkington a little bit, but one of his great rivals, don't forget, Giovanardi, still out in front with a healthy margin of just under 3 seconds.
No, fantastic drive by Paul O'Neill. He was strong at the start, and this Integra, it's a slippery shape, remember, so it's quick on the straight. They've solved the little handling problems by straightening out the front splitter that I talked about. Paul's extracting the maximum out of it. It also looks after its tyres very well.
He just holds on from Johnny Adam there with the two BMWs directly behind him. Matt Neal's gone straight across the grass in the background, doing a bit of ploughing there, and that's going to cost him some of the valuable places that he just gained.
Yeah, well, that was where he went off in qualifying and actually went faster doing it than he had by staying on the track. But it looked like he was fairly heavily into ploughing mode, as you say.
Turkington very close. I don't think he's going to attack. Meanwhile, down in the pits, Louise has got James Thompson. Let's get a quick word from James.
James, I'm hearing gearbox problem from the team, is that right?
Yeah, it was a real shame. We lost second gear, and then the bits floating around in the gearbox obviously caused a bit of a terminal failure, so very disappointing.
How terminal? Fixable for the next race?
Oh, it's fixable, yeah. I mean, with our team, anything's fixable, but no, it's just disappointing. I think we had the pace to catch Fabrizio, so I was just playing it a bit canny in the early stages. So, yeah, disappointing for the boys. They've worked very hard the last few weeks. So.
Bad luck.
Johnny Adams still in 4th place, but he's under severe pressure from championship leader Colin Turkington, both in BMWs. It's the Airwaves car versus the Team RAC car. Not much to choose between them. Down into the left-hander at the S's, braking just under the bridge. Johnny Adams positioning the car very cleverly. No room for Turkington.
No, they look very equal, didn't they? I think they're certainly both teams have got new engines in this week, but there really wasn't anything to choose between them, as you'd expect from BMW. But Johnny Adams said after qualifying and practice, his car was fantastic on new tyres, but it wasn't making the tyres last as well as he'd like. You can see there he's just struggling for a little bit of grip, whereas traditionally the RAC cars have always had fantastic tyre life.
Yeah, absolutely, and there was a test here at Snetterton in the summer break, and Team RAC were very happy with the way that went, managed to get some decent race distances in, so they're pretty confident with the way the car's handling over the course of the race, but the laps are ticking away. It's a 19-lap race now because the safety car has added a lap to that, and we're on lap 15 rather. We've completed 14, we're on lap 15, back at the pedals. We're watching Colin Turkington on the right. You can see feet on the pedals, his steering action's going on as well. And watch him, as you said earlier, when he comes down to this next corner.
Yeah, you see him going up through the gears now. Watch his right hand, pulls the gear but leaves the throttle flat out. Now watch, he brings his foot over. Watch his toes. He starts to twitch in a little bit. There he goes, he's twitching. Now heeling and towing and down changing at the same time.
I like the twitching on the toes, that's great. The Turkington still attacking here. Johnny Adam, that is for 4th place. All these points are going to be so crucial come the end of the season, of course. And you know, in the Independent Teams Championship, it's a pretty close battle between these two outfits. A lot of honour at stake to be first BMW home in each of the races. Only 15 points separating RAC and Airwaves, and he's having a little look. No, not quite. He's got to be careful. He's got to think of the overall championship position as well as Turkington. But he had to think about going down the inside there. Behind it's still Stephen Jelly, and then it's Adam Jones. Dave Pinkney running well. Dave Pinkney up to 8th place now, one of the best performances he's had this season. Matt Neal's currently in 9th, Rob Collard is in 10th.
Well, Dave actually was had really high hopes after practice, and in fact in qualifying he only did a few laps, but his quickest lap until his gearbox broke was actually only a 10th off James Thompson's in the first sector, so I'm not surprised to see he's got a good pace in the race. He's right up behind Adam Jones.
Yeah, good stuff from Dave Pinkney. He's the only remaining Team Dynamics car, of course. Jim Anani still leads this race. Matt Jackson going really well after qualifying didn't work out. He's up to 2nd, O'Neill in 3rd, and then it's this battle we've been watching. Johnny Adam in the Airwaves car versus Colin Turkington for Team RAC, and there's still only inches separating them as they come out of the S's there. But what about this for Paul O'Neill? He's heading for a podium finish, and this really would be wonderful if he can hang on to it. Remember, he led at Croft, didn't he? Yeah, lovely slide. He led at Croft until the battery failed. Well, this would really put that behind him.
Yeah, the whole Tech Speed team run by Marvin Humphries who do a fantastic job on a limited budget, and Paul's delivering the goods here. Great for him, great for the team, great for sunshine.co.uk. This could be his first podium. I won't want to jinx him, but I really hope he gets it.
Hope so too, but across the line come those BMWs, still fighting over what is 4th place. There is Paul O'Neill then. Martin Bell, his teammate, unable to race here this weekend, injured himself whilst on holiday actually, so that was a bit of a shame, and sorry not to see you here, Martin, but get well soon. We'll see you back out, and I bet you're enjoying watching your mate Paul O'Neill doing a fine job here at the moment, up into 3rd place. But who is going to win in this battle between the BMWs? Still very little to choose between them. Johnny Adams still in his first season of British Touring Cars, but he's driving in a very mature manner at the moment.
Yeah, he's actually soaking up his pressure really well. He's driving very tidily, maximising his corner exit speed to get everything just right. He knows where Turkington's quick enough. He doesn't need to defend here, but through the next 2 corners, Turkington is trying to set him up through Coram for a pass on the inside. But Johnny Adam has seen that, so he can cover the inside a little bit. Turkington's very close. He's got good momentum.
Oh, it's as close as he can be, but he still doesn't quite get down the inside. And as you say, Johnny Adams driving very well to protect that position at the moment as they come over the line this time. That is 17 laps completed. We go on to lap number 18. Less than 2 laps to go then. Giovinazzi leads by 3.1 seconds. Matt Jackson in the Silverline Chevrolet Lacetti is in second place. Paul O'Neill is in third. And then it's this race going on for fourth between Johnny Adams and Colin Turkington. But there is our race leader, Tim. And then we're watching Vauxhall really getting back on form. They struggled in qualifying, particularly at Croft, but they seem to have got some of that pace back again, don't they?
Yeah, and don't forget that Giovinazzi's carrying 27 kilos, and it's quite a hot day, so he'll be very pleased with his pace. Even though Matt Jackson's maybe caught up a little bit, I'm sure it's really just Giovinazzi managing the gap, and they'll be very pleased with this result.
It's a vital one for Vauxhall and for Giovinazzi, because it will bring Giovinazzi probably past Matt Neal in terms of championship points. Well, it will put him up into second place, Giovinazzi, and close the gap on Turkington a little bit. Turkington, who's had some 4 wins in the last 6 races, he ain't going to win this one, and at the moment he's struggling to get that 4th place and a couple more valuable points here, but to do so he's got to find a way past Johnny Adams. Stephen Jelly driving well behind these two. He's sort of just holding back a little bit. Qualified a little lower down than he would have liked, but his race pace going well. But onto the final lap, mud splattered across the windscreen. Giovinazzi has this one under control.
Yeah, it looks like he's been rally crossing, doesn't it? But it's not going to spoil his vision at all.
Now, this was Matt Neal and Rob Collard a moment ago, and we gather Collard, he will have picked up a puncture somewhere. Ooh. Maybe that's where it was. Now that was a rubbing battle.
Well, Matt was never going to give up on that one, was he? And Rob was pushing him, having run wide on the corner, and Rob's ended up with a puncture as a result.
Look at that right front. Yeah, it's just shredded, that right front tyre, as a result of the contact.
Yeah.
But we're on the final lap here, and Fabrizio Giovinazzi is going to make it back-to-back victories effectively from Croft last time out in the wet and rainy conditions. Giovinazzi is going to take another win. He'd only had 1 win until we got to that final race at Croft last time out, and now suddenly he's going to bring his tally up to 3 victories this season. So it's been an absolutely superb performance from the reigning champion. He has dominated the event here and really worked it well. Giovinazzi takes the victory at Snetterton. Second place is going to go to Matt Jackson, and he'll be well pleased with that. And third is Paul O'Neill for sunshine.co.uk for Texby. What a result for them. Adam just holds on to 4th from Turkington, who got pushed out of the way by Plato early on in the race, but recovered there to 5th place. Stephen Jelly finishes in 6th. Adam Jones in 7th. Dave Pinkney, his best result of the season, in 8th, ahead of Matt Neal and Harry Volkard. But there is Giovinazzi, and that was one of the sort of drives that we've seen him put in over the last couple of years, Tim.
Yeah, and it wasn't the race we were expecting, was it? We were all talking about Plato and Turkington, and Giovinazzi, the champion's drive from 5th on the grid, comes through to cleverly take the win and pick up crucial championship points.
Vauxhall's 4th victory of the season, so that will make them very happy indeed. Matt Neal, bit out of luck in that one, as we saw. Had contact at the first corner, and Matt's victory, which was way back at the start of the season, now looking rather a long time ago. But look at the reaction for Paul O'Neill. He's still punching the air, and the Liverpudlian has just driven beautifully there. He's used that Honda Integra, which works so well, doesn't it? And
well, you know, when you're sort of not in a factory team, sometimes 3rd place can feel better than a victory.
Winner here in the past, of course, at Snetterton, when he was driving for a factory team some years ago. That was back in 2003, so he does like this place, but this will, I think, almost mean as much as that victory.
It will, and when you do it with a small team as well, it's all the more rewarding.
So, Giovinazzi wins for Vauxhall. Matt Jackson is 2nd in the Chevrolet, but it's a brilliant 3rd place for Paul O'Neill in the sunshine.co.uk Honda Integra. Jonathan Adam did brilliantly to hold on to 4th for Airwaves, ahead of the 2 Team RAC BMWs at Turkington and Jelly. Adam Jones held on to 7th for Cartridge. Well, Dave Pinkney, the only Team Dynamics finisher, but he got his best result of the season in 8th. Matt Neal finished in 9th, and Harry Volkard brought the newly named Bamboo Engineering into 10th. 11th for Tom Chilton, and then 12th place for Andrew Jordan, who lost out there, made that mistake into the S's. He was leading early on, remember. John George in his 100th British Touring Car race finished 13th, ahead of Martin Johnson. And then we had a list of retirements. Rob Collard going out with a puncture, James Nash out, so was Thompson, Shedden, and of course Jason Plato. Now, of course, that does change things in terms of the standings. Colin Turkington is still in front, but we've got a change for second because Fabrizio Giovanardi has now moved ahead of his teammate Matt Neal. Jason Plato needed to score there and didn't, so he's back in 4th place on 114 points. Rob Collard also failing to score, James Thompson. So a whole group of cars there that really didn't get much out of the first race of the day. Down at the bottom, 10th place, Johnny Adams certainly did, and that's going to help him. So there we are. There is Giovanardi's car back into the pit lane. I think he'll be absolutely delighted with that. He's been frustrated a few times this season, but there was no sign of it there. It was just a straightforward. He got past his teammate, of course, had to fight a little bit with Andrew Jordan, but now he's come through to take victory.
Very happy. Hey, I don't know what the logo was there, but also in the shot, just diving down to the front left tyre. But it was Mickey Butler from Dunlop. But let's go over to Steve for the champion's reaction.
Was to you. Vital win for you. Just explain what you got here.
Today I felt like that.
Well, you managed to avoid all the danger this afternoon. What did you see of everything that was going on the first lap in particular?
Yeah, I felt the car well because we walk a lot in practice to avoid with the hot weather. We had problem in the past to have a performance car through all the races, and the car was absolutely amazing. My work was fantastic. The team has done a great job. I felt the potential to overtake everyone. I've done it.
And how important is this in terms of the championship to you? What were your fears of Colin Turkington really disappearing into the distance a bit?
Yeah, I've seen the accident between Jason and Turkington. This makes me a big help, really big help in the championship. But it's not finished. It's just half part of the season. I think we have to believe in our potential, not in the accident or in the luck. So I think we can do it again.
And the attitude from now on, we hear from the likes of Jason Plato, they've got to go aggressive, but you feel that you can be a little bit more conservative and pick up points and wins like this?
No, it's not the moment to be confident, to be calm, and I think we have to make more points we can, because in the beginning of the season we lost a lot of points. So when I will have enough points to manage it, I will do it, not now.
Well done today. A great start to the action at Snetterton for you. Defending champion Fabrizio Giovanardi, with his 3rd win of the season, moves up to 2nd in the championship. And as ever, we've got a very busy afternoon of live action ahead of us here at Snetterton, with all the support race action to go with the 2 remaining touring car races as well. And we'll take a break, and then we'll bring you up to date with exactly how the afternoon looks and get more reaction to what we've just seen. Fabrizio Giovanardi, our first winner at Snetterton today.